It's only me. It's only the Kimmer, the Kimmer Show podcast with Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler flounder at the controls at El Condo Floundo. How we doing? All set to go and everything good? Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. That stupid dog and pony show. The hearing that's causing an insurrection to this country is on. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about the gun bill, which what a joke. I mean, all the three things they wanted, they didn't get in there. But anyway, and a billion things, issues and topics, and Steaky Big Fat Loser Abraham's ideas for the future, stuff like that. But since we had a kind of a break the other day, and I was enjoying Pete's pictures, we're going to be talking about some personal stuff over the long weekend. Is that all right?
That's more interesting than all that other crap.
I know. I really don't. I'm so sick
because we can't change that. They're all idiots.
You know, honestly, it's horrible. A couple things. Can I do a quick mail check? I thought you'd be excited about this. I got
mail check music.
I got the notice to if I want to subscribe to another year of Vanity Fair for like $12 a year.
So really? I'm gonna do a year.
That. Well, it's like was 16 with tax and shipping.
Oh, no.
a year.
Oh, you write it off.
Well, that's what That's what I've done. I let the things expire, and then they send selected customers, because they just want the ads to go. So I do the same thing with New Yorker. I wait till they beg me to come back. And also, I love these. It's a Capital One. $200 one-time cash bonus. See inside for your pre-selected offer. Yes, 0% intro, APR, whatever they call it, yearly rate thing. Automatically earn unlimited 1.5% cash back. And then it turns out when you look at the stuff, by the way, look at all the paperwork that they print up to make these things to millions of people in the mail. The interest rate starts at 0, but goes to 25.2%.
No, it doesn't.
Usury. That's freaking usury. It says 25.24% based on your credit worthiness. Well, I don't have any credit worthiness anymore.
I thought that was against the law.
And it says, anyway, I mean, it's unbelievable, these people.
That's how they get poor people in debt and they never get out.
I know. Well, that's how Joe Biden made his money. He represented the credit card companies in Delaware. That's where all their headquarters are. I mean, that's apparently very well known. Anyway, for the record. Okay, now on to... and I came home this weekend from my trip to Florida, and I got a notice in the mail from Georgia Department of Revenue Motor Vehicle Division. Pending registration suspension, action required before 30 June. This is the only notice you'll receive. A lapse of liability insurance coverage on the above vehicle occurred, and I said, whoa, wait a minute. It's the car I used to own. Oh. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll go ahead and just stick that in the file, you bastards. Try to scare me on that.
Tell us about your trip.
Well, I will, but I'd rather talk about yours first, because you had pictures. I mean, I kind of miss what you did. You got to go travel and sightsee, and you were putting pictures on of stopping. And I thought, I really love that stuff. I didn't get a chance to do anything except work and sweat. My trip was horrible. Let's start with yours, because it looked like you had a really nice time. Just took off in your car and had fun driving because you're a driver and you got a great car. And I assume not. So where did you go and what were all those pictures? Because you never really say. But where you are, people have to freaking
People can
guess.
figure it out. Well, much.
Not necessarily. Anyway,
1,263 miles, by the way.
Wow, that's about what I put on, about 1,300 miles. Anyway, but you had fun. I didn't. So where'd you go and what'd you do?
Well, basically, it was the Oak Springs Memorial is every second Sunday in June over in Mississippi, where it's my mother's buried there, my grandparents are buried there, so whatever. So I'm going to go over there to that because we haven't been there in a few years. So that was the key goal to go. And I figured while I'm there, I'll research that book I've been researching for 12 years. I really haven't had a chance to really go do, which meant going to Greenville, Mississippi, and then up to Memphis and walking around cemeteries and everything. And there was cemeteries that. And then I hung out at Ole Miss for a couple days. Didn't have anything else to do, and I just sat there and just sat on the square and walked around the campus and walked around the square. And it was so refreshing to be in a place where everybody's nice and everybody's friendly and everybody has a sense of community. Everybody there is, they're united by the university. It's like every small college town. You're united by one thing, and everybody's there for a reason. And to watch the kids going around, you would have loved it. First of all, Everyone.
They're not wearing any clothes.
Shit, they're all tall, long-haired blondes.
Yeah, I know.
With their little sandals and their sundresses.
Yeah, I can't take it.
Next time I'm putting a GoPro on, I'm just going to sit there.
God. Well, I'm not going to watch.
And bring it back to you.
My heart will absolutely leave into my liver and something.
It's unbelievable. Hundreds upon hundreds of them. But anyway, not only they are walking around, and a few of the students, because it's between classes, between semesters and whatever, but the people coming back that obviously met there and married and were walking around and come back to reminisce, and some of them have brought their kids and some of them brought their grandkids.
Yeah.
And there was this feeling of family, and it was so refreshing just to sit there and watch the people go by.
You know, I have to ask you, you didn't go to Ole Miss.
I was supposed to, and I stupidly fell in love, and I stayed here.
Well, see, I've known you for 30 years or whatever, and you are really an Ole Miss and a Mississippi guy, but you never lived there, you never went there.
I spent my summers there.
How did that start?
I was born there.
Your grandparents in your summertime? Was that what you were?
Yeah, I was born there. My mother's from there. Her family's still there, which I went over there to visit and everything.
But that's where you and your
That was where
brother?
I was going to go, and I didn't go. Now, my brother's from Savannah. My sister's from Beaumont.
Didn't you and somebody spend the summers there with your grandparents playing in the field?
They're in Little Rock. We just traded back in Memphis. We traded back and forth.
Okay. Anyway, I was wondering why, because you have a very close connection to Mississippi, and I never.
One day I'm going to audit a class there.
Now, what's this book you're talking about?
Oh, it's just a book. Basically
that you're going to write about.
I'm going to write about something that happened there over 100 years ago. Which I talked to the people, the historians here in Greenville, and they never. Well, one of them had heard of part of it, but didn't hear about the tragic part, and the other one had never heard of it. By the way, I went into the Greenville History Museum, Greenville, Mississippi, and there in the radio section, History Museum. There is basically the radio part of it was the console that we all used at WGST in a museum.
I saw that picture of the old radio board, the toggle switches, and oh my God.
There's a way to feel old. I pointed out to guys, like, what is this doing here?
Oh,
we were using this a few years ago.
Well, my first radio job was 1965. So, I mean, you can imagine the equipment I had back then, reel-to-reel tape recorders. And
you put a man on the moon with that equipment. Which, by the way, I did something that I want to do for the last few months because everyone's talking about it. My first stop in Leeds, Alabama was the Buc-ee's.
Was the what?
Buc-ee's.
Oh, now I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Well,
like
Flounder?
I've heard about it, and actually Brett Barney was at one a weekend ago or so. I mean, is it worth it? It's just it's a grocery store with a gas station.
It's huge. Yeah. First of all, it's like a small Walmart. You go in there. There's hunting equipment. They're making the barbecue and the beef jerky. There's 500 different types of beef jerky. There's a whole bar.
Is it a restaurant or
well, there's no place to sit. That's the cool thing. They don't want you to hang around too much. They want you to get your stuff and go. So there's no place to sit and eat. So you go sit in your car. But I got a barbecue sandwich here. It's one of the best damn barbecue sandwiches I ever had. And I brought you guys back. And you can buy clothes. You can buy food. You can buy gas up. There's 1,000 gas pumps. So you never have to wait.
I'll be damned.
And I'm telling you what. If you ever need to go to the restroom, it's a Roman bath.
Really?
Literally, you go in there, and it's bigger than this apartment. It's bigger than this apartment, the bathroom. I'm not kidding.
Do you get, are the stalls all the way to the ground?
No. The stand-up stalls are all little individual with little bitty walls between you and the next guy, so you don't have to see it.
Good.
And then they have individual places that you can go to. I didn't see if they had showers, but maybe
this is where now?
Buc-ee's in Leeds, Alabama.
Alabama. And is there more than one, or is that?
They're everywhere. They're up in There's one in Calhoun. And there's all over Texas.
God, so I've never seen one. I mean, I've heard the name, but I don't think I've ever driven
Supposedly,
by one.
it started. This woman broke up with her husband to go with a rich guy.
Oh, boy.
And he said, screw that, I'm going to be richer than him. And he came up with the idea of Buc-ee's, and now he is richer than him. And he told her to.
Yeah, no. There you go.
So I brought you guys a present.
Oh, no.
We were talking about this, and first of all, the Buc-ee is everywhere. The beaver. He's
the Buc-ee beaver.
He's like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Now, I know Kimmer likes these. I don't know if you like it, Flounder, so I brought you both one. And it is, we talked about this last week, how you cannot find the orange cranberry muffins anymore.
No, you can't.
They are as big as cat heads.
Oh, my God. Look at this. Oh, my. And it's got cranberry.
Do you like these? Orange cranberries? Come take one then. I brought you both.
Didn't my little friend Gretchen send you? I forwarded you
Take one, and he'll take the other one home.
Oh, well, thank you.
But the food's great there. by the way. The food is great.
Well, I'm going to have to drive to Alabama one of these days.
Or Calhoun, Georgia. Go up to Calhoun.
Oh, Calhoun, Georgia, even better. Yeah. Thank you. That's outstanding. very, very generous. Now, speaking of that, anything else on Buc-ee's or?
It's a great trip, and I kept missing my cousin the whole 4 days. Kept missing her back and forth. She's doing rodeo and 4-H stuff and everything, so I never did get to see her. But it was just so pleasant to go someplace. And you come back to Atlanta, it's so congested and polluted and
tell me about
a-holes, and it's just for a day or two you're like in a funk. Like, why did I come back? And then you start getting into your life again. It's no big deal. But
Flounder, any fun over the 3-day weekend? You still had to work Friday.
I went to the Braves game yesterday and melted.
Yeah.
Oh man, it looked. I felt when I was working in the garage.
Beautiful day. Had a blast. Took the niece and nephew there for the first time. They had a lot of fun. We went and sat in our seats, and not even 3 minutes later, we went to shade. It was just that hot. And when you have kids who are 5 and 3, they can only handle the heat so often. But it was a lot of fun.
Was Friday night and Saturday night, I walked around the square, and 68 degrees, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I got up Sunday morning to go to my grandparents' old church and everything and go to memorial. 10:30 in the morning, I'm standing outside of the grave, cleaning it up and make sure everything's cool. It's 94 degrees at 10:30 in the morning. But driving through the Delta on Friday, driving into the Delta, the hottest place in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
The whole horizon that you can see is all one big giant storm, right? Electrical storm. Temperature drops, and this 11 o'clock in the morning drops to 70 degrees. And it was just beautiful. Just perfect.
Sweet.
Perfect weather.
Except for the storm part.
Well, I didn't get to the storm. It was over by the time I got there.
Man.
And another thing. I was there in Greenville about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
When Trump was in office.
Yeah.
It was starting to turn around. It was starting to be on the up. 2 years of Biden.
Yeah.
The place, and the historian says, we're losing jobs right and left, and people are just leaving. 2 years of Biden. Yeah. 2 years.
We're screwed. All right, hold everything. Coming up, a little surprise for one of you, and I'm going to feel bad that the other one didn't get a surprise, but I'm still going through my stuff, so that.
Why did you do that?
No,
you can't do that.
I can do it because there's a good reason, and it'll be totally explained. No, it'll be totally explained. Also, we will talk about the stupid hearing and the things, and a trucker tried to Dennis Weaver me. Remember the movie Duel?
Oh, that happened to me too.
Steven Spielberg's first movie with Dennis Weaver, Mr. Dillon, as the believe me, I couldn't freaking believe it. I almost shot him. I almost put a bullet through his freaking windshield.
I had to go off the road because a guy tried to pass on a 2-lane country road and misjudged and didn't have anywhere to go. And if there hadn't been a place to get off the road for a couple of my wheels, we would have head on.
Oh, man. Yeah, but this guy was deliberate. He was chasing me.
Oh, chasing you.
I'll get to it. Hold on. First of all, Kimmer sponsors. If you'd like to join us as a sponsor on the Kimmer Show podcast, go to thekimmershow.net. Ta-da! That does everything. If you go to thekimmershow.net, you can, again, we ask you to hit the YouTube, the glippity-gloppity, and when you hit that thing, it says subscribe. Hit that subscribe, and you're done forever. You don't only have to do it once, and it'll help us try to earn some money on this ridiculous business plan of mine. And you can also check the podcast we do, any replays. And you can get in touch with us way too if you want to advertise.
Also, the weekend shows are on there, as well as
Saturday
Kimmer's Friday mornings is on there as well. So just go to thekimmershow.net and you'll get everything Kimmer.
All right. Now, if they want to contact us to advertise,
there is a contact form on there, and
Bingo.
It emails
Just
Pete
hit
right
that.
away.
Go to Pete, and we'll take care of you. Like our buddies at Wise RV Glass did, by the way, which is one of our longtime sponsors. We love these guys. In fact, they are a double sponsor. Dad Carl retired. Carl, the dad, retired a little bit ago. But son Russell's in full control of this really terrific operation, Wise RV Glass, WISC. Here's the deal. If you have an RV, motor coach, camper, something like that, and something goes wrong with any of the glass, maybe one of those hard-to-find flat one-piece front windshields, or even a side view mirror or a rear, whatever, a glass mirror, whatever, a glass issue. No job too small. Don't worry about it. They do this for a living. They love to come and fix you up. And they have fogged up double pane windows, maybe, whatever it is. Interior mirrors, the whole deal. As Pete gets round 4 coming up. They will take care, and to save you time and money, they go to where you are. It's all mobile service. You call them or get in touch with them, and they'll tell you how in a second. And they come to you. Now, don't be, and you say, oh, it's only a rear view mirror. Yeah, instead of you trying to find it and worry with stuff, they'll take care of it for you. All through North Georgia, all metro Atlanta. No job too big or too small. You have a fleet of cars needs work? That's what they do. Here's the phone number. 470, that's the area, 470-345-6521. And on the web, wiservglass.com. With a great appreciation. And thank you so much, boys. Now, before I forget, I will talk about my trip and stuff. First of all, sorry, Flounder, this is for Pete.
Oh, now I feel like
No. I only now, as you know, on my trip, I brought back treasures of the deep, treasures from the Kimmer storage area, and I've been looking through stuff. So, this is for you. I want you to open it right here. You were on Facebook, right? Can you see
bow,
it?
too.
A bow and everything. I wrapped that myself, and probably no more stickum left. Anyway, this was just because...
What a nice wrapping job.
No, it's paper. Just get rid of it.
Honey.
Oh, you're going to save it? You can't save
I'm just
paper.
saying.
Rip it apart.
Why is it birthday stuff?
Well, because I always blow your birthday. I've never ever in a manner of speaking. I've always forget Pete's birthday, and he is the best gift giver of all time. He will think of things that you may have said a year before.
This camera's not working.
Oh, camera's not working?
That one isn't. That one's working and that one's
Oh, okay, but they can see something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, whatever. Anyway, and the weird thing about this book, it's totally, there's nothing on the cover. You don't even know which side is front or back. It's just totally plain. However, open it up.
Memoirs? Or?
No, you'll see. Open it up. We'll get rid of that so they can't see it. And you'll see one more page, and I think that's the top of the thing. There you are. It's all of the rejected New Yorker cartoons.
Oh, my God. This is great.
Is that a great book or what?
That is a great
Thousands of them. All the ones that were rejected.
Oh, it's a guy touching a girl's breast.
It's a great bathroom book or a guest room book if you have friends coming in from out of town. Put it on their nightstand. I mean,
he's touching her breast. He says, I never know what to do with my hands at a party. That's the first one I turned to.
It's a fantastic. I mean, I remember, God, I think I got this probably 30 years, I don't know, decades ago. I've had it forever. I don't even think I've ever looked at it. But anyway, so there you are. It's all the rejected political cartoons of New Yorker.
Thank you.
Anyway, and
cool.
that's so for your next birthday that I totally forget. Once again, this is at least a start. And I thought that was fun. And by the way, I've gotten a lot of reaction on the stuff that I brought out of my storage locker. I'll get to that in a second here first too. Now, speaking of driving, before I forget. I rented a U-Haul van, one of those big vans, to go down to Florida and back. And while I was gone, I was hoping, I mentioned last week that I had to jack up my tire about 4 or 5 pounds of air because it was the thing. Well, it's got a slow leak, so once again, I'm going to be celebrating the Alpharetta Taste of Steel Plate Construction Roads Everywhere Fest coming up. Tomorrow, when I don't do a podcast, I'll be going to the tire store to wait there for 4 or 5 hours while they see if I have a slow leak because of a freaking nail.
I got
which
you
I've
beat.
done 7 freaking times.
I got to go to the dentist tomorrow.
I'd rather go to the dent. Well, you got nothing on my work coming up? Oh, man.
Did you see the commercial? A little side here. There's a commercial saying that you can go get zirconian teeth.
Yeah.
3
Dental.
visits in 1 week, and it's done.
That's right. Yep.
How's that going on?
Because I'm sure they're not covered by Humana.
Oh.
You know, I mean, if you want to pay for it, it's probably $20,000, or I have no idea. I'm guessing mine's going to cost me $20,000 or thereabouts, and I've got my daughters taken care of. Oh God, I'm so screwed. Anyway,
the money you make from all this swag you just brought back.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I'll be taking care of my car, tire again. God, this has got to be like the 6th or 7th time.
I know.
And there's, through Alpharetta, it's all construction. It's all cones and changing lane thing. I mean, it's a freaking nightmare. Anyway, just for the record, so that's a coup. Okay, now, God, I don't know where to start. I've had stuff in storage. When we came back to work in 2013, November 2013, I still had my condo. I've been trying to sell both places because they were underwater, and I was going to lose my entire nest egg. So I was trying to get rid of it as fast as I could. In the meantime, because nobody was buying, I let my golfing buddy Matt stay there, and he lived there for like a year. And then my daughter Jennifer moved down there, and I let her stay there for about a year or so, or maybe not that long. And then when she left to go to Colorado with her mother, my favorite ex-wife, and her sister's family and everything, I got a storage area. And a woman named Amy, I called her. She does service down there. I called her down there. She said, "I'll go move it for you. It cost me like $400 or $500." And she put it in and got a storage unit, sent me the key, at what's the name of the storage places? Public Storage, the orange sign people. Okay. So, but it had been there for years. And you know, when you first rent a storage locker, at least at this place, it's like, you know, $109 a month, something like that. And I think, okay, you know, $100 a month, it's okay. Suddenly, before you know it, it's $200 a month. So, you know, for the last like 7 years, I've been paying the money to these just to keep it in there. Anyway. So I had to finally get my stuff out of there. So I finally drove down. I bit the bullet. I could have flown and then rented a U-Haul and then driven that back. But it would have cost me a fortune, not only for the plane ticket, but also for the drop-off fees and everything else and mileage and all that kind of stuff. So I went to U-Haul here locally, right near my house, and I rented the place a week thing. Here's what it turned out: $522 for the truck. For the time. It was a 3-day rental, and I think they would have let me take it for a week. And I spent $341 on gas. It was about 1,300 miles. Most of the gas cost $5.10. The high test I saw I used regular, but as I stopped, the high test was between $6.10 and $6.20 a gallon, all through Florida and part of Georgia, South Georgia. And Flounder, God bless you. Last week I asked him to put another couple of songs on my memory stick, my music stick, my magic stick, so I could enjoy. In fact, when I got the van, when I rented it a few days in advance, I said, "Can I look at it, see what's in there?" He said, "Sure." I said, "Now, has it got all the bells and whistles, all the the plug-in stuff?" And he says, "Oh yeah, it's got it all." And I looked, there was a little vent thing near the plug-in Wi-Fi thing. Okay. So then I get in the van. And I start to do my trip, and Flounder put some more songs on my magic stick so that I could hear him going down there. And I take the music stick as I'm driving along, and I stopped and I try to put it in, and not only does it not go in, the vent doesn't fit the thing for the music stick, but there's only AM and FM radio and nothing else on the radio console. There is no Wi-Fi, there is no Bluetooth, there is none of that stuff. And so the whole way down, not only could I not listen to my music stick that Flounder put together for me, but the radio didn't work worth a crap, and it was all static for 13 hours.
I got you beat. I had to do something just like that on my way home from Texas.
Oh, and they didn't have the thing?
I did the more intelligent thing and put my headphones on because I had my headphones with my iPod. But that even got old after a while, and I was just like, I can't keep on doing this. And
well, here's the other happy part about it. The podcast app wasn't working. In fact, when I came back from Florida, I couldn't get it. It never worked. It worked in my hotel room for the Friday morning call-in. When I called in Friday morning, I was in the hotel down in Florida, and it worked fine. When I got in the car, it didn't work the whole way back until I got to Douglasville or Jonesboro or someplace. I don't know. So anyway, I couldn't even listen to the stuff, and it was oh God, it was horrible. It was the most miserable trip. It took forever because the rain. It rained. That's why I hate that South Florida just storms and rains at some point every freaking day in the summertime. But even worse than that. Besides the static, not listening to anything, I finally, when I drive, I start early as I can, and then I drive a couple hours, and then I stop and I get something to eat and some iced tea and whatever, just to kind of break up, walk around, maybe go to a rest area for 8 minutes and walk around and whatever. Okay, so I stopped at my first stop, and I said, well, I was in Hey Hira, and I stopped at a McDonald's.
Hey Hira.
And they were the rudest, most uncommunicative, lazy, bad attitude. Nobody. I mean, it was unbelievable. I laughed. I mean, I waited there, and I said, I can't do that. And I said I was going to start raising the roof. So I finally, and the other place was just as bad. And I guess because nobody wants to work. But here we are. Even McDonald's. Oh, and by the way, the McDonald's I did get, oh my God, I got a quarter pounder with, I wrote this down. I got a quarter pounder with cheese and a shake, a strawberry milkshake at McDonald's. Quarter pounder with cheese and a strawberry shake, $9.29. For a quarter pounder with cheese and a strawberry milkshake, $9.29.
No fries?
No fries.
Wow.
Anyway, I mean, I couldn't believe it. And the quarter pound with cheese, I couldn't eat it. When I took the wrapper off, I went back to my car and walked around, took the wrapper off, and there was so much ketchup on it and mustard that it was sliding on the top of the bun. I literally tried to take one bite and then I chucked it. And I kept on going down the road and had a candy bar that I brought with me and some ice water and sweet tea. I mean, honestly, it was just rude and, just bad everything. I mean, it was just, what's going on in America?
I had good McDonald's in Oxford. Where it was late, and
well, I'm sure
the
their
shake machine was working, and they were friendly.
The shake was good. The shake, I enjoyed the shake. I had the shake. But again, here we go. It's just everything, whatever. Okay, so I'm driving down there. And I'm in a van, okay? And actually the van... Down by the river. And the van actually drove pretty good. It was pretty fast. I mean, not fast, but it was powerful enough where it wasn't a chugger. It moved.
It was a Peugeot van?
No, I think it was like a Dodge or a Fly. I don't even know what it was. But it was, it was a modern... it only had 15,000 miles on it, so it was a fairly new van, and it ran fine. So I'm driving along, and by the way, the traffic going down 75 and then getting on the Florida Turnpike. And the good news is, I left Florida in 2013, but since then, they've taken all the tolls off the turnpike. It's just an open road now. Anyway, so 75 in the turnpike, it's all trucks. I mean, all trucks. And they're rude, they're aggressive, they're driving in the third lane instead of just the right two lanes.
We love truckers.
We love truckers. Everything you have on your body or in your house or anything you see in the world comes at some point on a truck. We love truckers. But going down to Florida, man, these people do not fool around. So there was a guy with a big orange Mack truck cab. And he was a 3-lane, I think it was 3 or 4 lanes. So it was, counting from the right, 1, 2, I was in the third lane, slowly passing some people. And everybody's doing 80 when it wasn't raining. They were flying. This big orange truck comes up on my right. And I see him start to goose it. And he wants to cut me off. It's clear he's trying to cut me off. Yeah. So I just kind of accelerate because I didn't want to be cut off by a truck in the third lane. No. I mean, so I accelerated, not wildly, but I accelerated fast enough where I clearly got ahead of him and then got over in the thing, and out he pulls. And he came right after me. He came up on my bumper. I mean, he came up on my bumper where I'm doing like 85 miles an hour in a rental U-Haul van, by the way. Like cops aren't going to notice that on the turnpike. And they were everywhere. Cops were everywhere, 75 on the turnpike. And so he comes on my butt. So I finally got around him again. And then I see him kind of back off against another lane. And then I move back again. And he comes at me again. And he's chasing me right on my freaking tail. Holy crap. I grabbed my gun. I mean, really, if he had hit my bumper, I was going to shoot him. I'm willing. I couldn't believe it. He was trying to crash me.
Only you.
He was trying to force me into like another car or something. Sorry, am I yelling? I think I'm yelling.
Sorry.
I couldn't believe it. And of course, I was going to try to take pictures backwards to show them in my rearview mirror.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Kimmer's driving tips brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets. ClosetPro.net. 404-255-0589. Atlanta Custom Closets. ClosetPro.net.
Thank you, Atlanta Custom Closet. Oh, what's that? Sorry. I'm sorry. It's been so long. What's the matter? Is he yelling at me again over there?
No.
Anyway, and aside from the truckers, I'm going to try to calm down now.
All right.
Aside from the truckers, the drivers in Florida, in particular in Florida, are the most aggressive, rudest on the Florida Turnpike. Not in the little side streets where all the old people live. On the Florida Turnpike, in fact, I've got to get my GoPro, my dash cam. I have a dash cam that I got. I haven't put it. I've got to leave the car somewhere for a day for somebody to put it in. Apparently, so I have. I'm looking forward. Well, it's got to be rewired. Got to go to the engine and hook it up to the battery because it's a computer thing that goes into your dash cam or something. I mean, it's a thing. You don't just set it there and turn it on. You have to plug it into your car. It has to be wired into the car. Okay. Go through the dashboard. I mean, it's a real pain in the ass. So you have to go to like Best Buy and leave it for a day or some bullshit. Anyway, So if I had that plugged in, you would have seen. I'm not making this up, and I rarely, especially, well, maybe my car, but not in a rental van, am I ever spending a lot of time in the far left lane, because that's when people want to go by. So I always get out of that as soon as possible if I have to pass somebody. So I was, I was really a safe driver because I'm in somebody else's. I'm in a van. I don't know. Okay, the people if you are 1 second late for getting in the move, they are right on your bumper. I had people cut me off from the far right-hand lane, 2 lanes over, swerve in front of me so that I had to slam on the brakes and ditch to the right and almost hit people probably 10 different times. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I mean, these people are maniacs, vicious and rude, no signals, no blinkers, get on your butt and get them. Oh my God, I wanted those. Anyway.
Birmingham, they don't care to cut in front of you, whether you're there or not. In Birmingham, going through there, they just don't care if you're in the lane or not. They just cut right in front of you.
I'm honestly, it was frantic. And speaking of the radio, the worst part about that was the seat was back far enough from the console or the dashboard that I had to really reach forward to get to the radio to try to find a station. And there was no scanner, so I couldn't just hit a button on the steering wheel to go to the next one. So I had to reach way forward and keep turning it while I'm trying to drive with my other hand in the rain and 80 going with trucker. Oh God. Honestly, it was the worst 2 days of my freaking life. Aside from the trucker that tried to run me off the road. And then I got a message. Check this out. I'll show you a picture of it. I don't know if people can see it over on that Facebook page.
Yes, sir.
But it says...
AirTag detected.
AirTag detected on my phone.
What's an AirTag?
AirTag detected near you. First seen with you today at 7:46 a.m. AirTag is that trick where people put the Google AirTag thing in your luggage or someplace and then track you. Oh. All this. In fact, the Apple AirTag is a boon to criminals. It's a coat button-sized AirTag. In April of last year, they started a Bluetooth tracking device designed to help you find keys, backpacks, wallets, devices, personal items you want to track. It uses Apple's crowdsourced Find My network, has 1 billion devices worldwide, and AirTags are used for stalking.
Yeah, you put it on someone's car.
Put
and
it
then
on
you know
somebody's
where they live.
car. 150 police reports mention AirTags from 8 police departments in an 8-month period. 50 cases where women had contacted police because they got notified they were being tracked by an AirTag they did not own. I don't own an AirTag.
I don't either. Yeah.
Of those, 25 identified a man in their lives, ex-husbands or bosses who suspected planted the thing. One model, remember the supermodel's coat got an AirTag in it, and the guy tracked her for 5 hours as she went from bar to bar and walked home, and he was following her. And criminals will put an AirTag on your car, track you to your home. When you go inside, they steal your car.
Yeah.
That's what AirTags are. And I got one. Notice you've been AirTagged.
I used to have something similar that I put on Bear's collar, but yeah,
well, tracking devices are.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what it's for lost animals or stuff like that, or your phone or.
That's
whatever.
what they tell you.
What's that?
That's what they tell you.
They tell you. Yeah, but
well,
criminals
they know where we are because we're always with our phone. They always know where we are.
Yeah, that's true.
It's our own fault.
That's true.
Just leave the phone home if you don't want them to know.
Yeah.
But then you have those idiots who have their phone and they literally say, "Hey, I'm going to the airport, so you can rob my house now."
I'll be leaving at 10 and we'll be back for 2 days.
And then they post it. It's like, how
just bring a
dumb
steak
are you?
for the Doberman and you're fine.
Just my wife and child at home, but
she's hot.
Anyway, that was bizarre. All right, so I finally get down there, and the place it's a public storage unit that this woman named Amy, who lives down there, got for me. So it's under her name, but I've been paying the bills all these years, so they know that. Well, there's a code. I called the girl down there before I got there, and I said, I'm coming down. I'm going to be there after hours. And I said, I want to double check the code works. She said, that's the code. And I said, okay. And so that night, I drove down there. I didn't get there till like 8 o'clock at night. I hadn't had anything to eat. Oh, did I find when I got to the area, I tried to find even an Arby's or a McDonald's or a what's the place you can go and sit down? Fridays.
Cracker Barrel.
No, not even Cracker Barrel. It takes too long. But Fridays or
Joe's Crab Shack.
Chili's, stuff like that. And I could. There are none. All they had was Café Le Chatetois.
Eat locally.
There was no locally. It would have taken me 2 hours, and I was dressed in jeans and a grubby shirt, soaking wet. Anyway, so I never had anything to eat. I got to the place at 8 o'clock after driving, trying to find a place to eat. Had a couple of candy bars.
And you're not crabby at all.
And I
when
didn't
you're
know.
not-
I'm
you're
so
hungry.
miserable after driving 12 hours or 13 hours, whatever it was. And I finally, so I get to my locker. I open it up, and it's got a lot of, and all the boxes weigh 200 pounds. They were books and medals and boots, and I mean, I didn't have a hand truck, so I had to carry it all and lift it up into the van.
Where's your hand truck?
I was stupid. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it, and so I finally get it all.
Most U-Hauls will have a hand truck in there a lot of the times.
Well, I can't. What can I tell you? So anyway, I mean, now imagine. Also, it was 96 degrees.
Yeah.
And I'm dying. I've lost 26 pounds since I got my teeth out. And not eaten, and 96 degrees, and I'm literally soaking wet. I mean, a sweat, dripping from low. I couldn't get it all in the van. I was also exhausted. It was 10 o'clock. So I go to the gate, and it says, approach the gate slowly, and it'll open. So I approach the gate slowly. Nothing happened. A little closer, nothing. Closer, nothing. I finally started banging the gate. Nothing happened. So I get out of the van. I backed up a couple feet, and I get out of the van. I go toward the window of the place that, of course, is closed. Listen, what are you doing? I was going to rap on a thing, and I see this little sign. Oh, after hours, here's the code. You have to hit code, flash tag, all this kind of stuff. So I did that. The gate opened. Okay, fine. So I get a hotel. Now it's like midnight. I tell them to wake me up because I'm going to do the radio thing the next morning. So I get a few hours of sleep. I get a message the next morning. Dear Amy, of course they think I'm Amy because her name's on the record. Dear Amy, we noticed that you left the property after hours last night, which is not allowed because of safety reasons. You're not supposed to leave the area after hours. So I called and I said, okay, let me get this straight. I called you and made sure I had the right code to get there after hours. And you said, oh, yeah, that's fine. That's the code to get in there after hours. I said, so are you now telling me that if someone comes in after hours, they have to stay there until the next morning? Well, no, there are hours of it. I said, well, nobody told me that. I mean, it's just, the whole thing was just miserable. So fine. So I went back the next morning to finish packing. And I left in there. I hope this isn't so as boring as this sounds like to me. In the storage locker, there were a couple things I'd never see again, don't care about. A couple of movie posters were just silly. 4 or 5 little teeny plastic, lightweight, snap-together shelving units that were worth $7. And there was a set of a golf bag with a set of Titleist irons in it, and they were blades. They were like good quality blades, but they're old. They're several, okay. And that was it. And I didn't want them, and they're no good. So I left it in there, took the lock off, closed the door, packed it up, and got on my way. I get a message... a nasty message saying, you have to get that stuff out of there. You're not allowed to have things in the locker. And we noticed that you moved out stuff, but there's still stuff in there. You need to come back here and get it out by Monday. And so I called them. I said, let me get this straight. I said, isn't it true that I've already paid you your $207 for the entire month of June? Well, yes, that's true. So are you telling me you're going to give me a refund because I got most of the stuff out? Oh, no, there's no refund. I said, well, then get off my freaking back. At the end of the June, so what are you freaking all upset about nagging me after all the thousands of dollars I paid you bastards for the last 7 or 8 years now? Anyway, said, oh, well, we didn't understand the circumstances. So now I have to call this girl, Amy. I just offered her like $200 to go by and clean out the rest of the thing before they charged me $250 to clean it. I mean, it's a freaking nightmare. I mean, it just, and then driving home was even worse. The weather and the, anyway, whatever. Now, I finally got home. And then I had
Anything nice happened?
Well, no. Then I had to, not really. Then I had to unload all that stuff into my garage and the thing. So again, honestly, I'm a wreck. I feel like I got hit by a truck. And it was my little friend Gretchen's birthday party was Saturday night at the park. John and Cher Parker's house, who were their close friends. And again, she was a fan of the show for years and years. That's how we got to know each other. Anyway, and I was just a big lump on a log. I went over there Saturday night and I was just dead. Yeah. And I'd lost another 6 pounds over the weekend. And I'm a freaking wreck. I tried to take 2 naps and it wouldn't work. Anyway, but I got the stuff out. Okay, now all of a sudden I've got a few pictures I'm putting on of some of the stuff from my storage locker. And now I'm getting offers. So somebody noticed the leg lamp. How much for the leg lamp? How many hamburgers for the leg lamp? And I've got a Braves jersey with the Kimmer on the back of it from when I did the motorcycle. I led the motorcycle parade, the charity parade. So I got a few things, but I can't really sell. I don't know. I've got. Who would want it, really? But plus, if somebody wanted to give me $50 for that Braves jersey, $50 isn't going to change my life. $50 isn't going to help me toward retirement. But my kids might rather have it.
Pay for your groceries for a week or two.
Well, but in terms of not of giving away stuff that my kids might want. When Jennifer's coming. Anyway, so we'll be going through my the treasures of the
treasure of the Sierra Madre.
The Sierra
badges.
We don't got no badges. We don't got to show you no stinking badges. By the way, and coming home, honestly, I think it took me an hour and a half to go from Jonesboro to Metro Atlanta. Just a Friday afternoon.
That's when you get back to Atlanta. It's like, oh God.
I mean, it was awful.
I know. I agree.
And everywhere. And coming south on 75 or the connector, holy God, I must have been backed up for 8 miles.
And here's a stupid idea. When you're leaving Birmingham to come to Atlanta, that's a pretty heavily populated road, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. 2
lanes, leaving Birmingham for several miles before you hit the 3 lane. Why the hell is it not 3 lanes?
If you build it, they will come. They could have built 5 lanes, and it wouldn't be enough. Still, why would? Remember, 400 did that. Well, the 400 was 2 lanes, all of it, and then finally they did like half of it, and there's still 2 lanes up north that they, Anyway, these people.
By the way, I hit roads in the Delta that aren't really roads. It says road on the map.
I might say road.
The GPS says it's a road. No. It's basically a place full of holes. And it was like, I'm driving, and you're in the middle of nowhere. So if you break your axle or something, you're screwed. Yeah. It's nothing but corn, it's nipple high as far as you can see. Wow. And they were not roads. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I believe it. One more travel thing. As I mentioned, my daughter Jennifer is coming to visit at the end of the month, end of this month. And so she had a couple of strokes several years ago, so she doesn't get around real well. And she's not totally disabled or anything, but she has a handicap sticker, and she needs a walker to get around any great length of distance. So I bought I bought each of us a walker, one for where she is, and one I had it sent to me. I've got to put it together.
Was it IKEA?
I don't know, but I've got to put it together. It's got the wheels and the things and the seat and the handlebars and the wired things for gripping. Oh God, it's going to be a nightmare. Anyway, because I want
you to film this when you do it.
I'm going to try to do. I should bring it here and have it go live and have me put it together.
Like that. No.
Anyway, and I said, I told her I was going to get one for here when she comes in from the airport. And I said, or she said, gee, I wonder if I can get enough stuff in just a carry-on bag. And I said, oh, sweetie, she's only going to be here Thursday to Sunday. So I said, if you need something like I've got sweatshirts or coats, or if you need something to wear, I'll get it. Or don't worry about it. Just bring a carry-on. And she said, well, the problem is, the last time she flew, they got her a wheelchair to go down the ramp and into the plane, and then she was in the plane and they got a wheelchair to go out again. And she said, but they wouldn't help me get the thing. I couldn't lift it up into the overhead companion. Yeah. And I tried to get out of the wheelchair, and I asked the flight attendant girl if she would give me a hand, and the girl said, well, I can't get off the plane. I can't step over the gate to help you off the air. And I said, what the hell airline did you fly? She said, American. Coach, when she just flew from to see her friends in Pennsylvania, and when I told her, well, that's going to be different because, in fact, she got a little angry at me when I paid for her trip, and I'm sending her first class. Obviously, I mean, she's disabled, she's handicapped. And so, of course, I sent her first class, and she didn't want to fly first class because she knows I don't have any money and it's expensive. But I don't care. It's worth a thing. It's not. I have the money. And so I told her. I said, oh, sweetie, I said, if I bring a suitcase if you want, bring a walker if you want, bring anything you want. I said, you're flying first class on Delta. And I will tell you right now, if you're flying first class on Delta, I will bet you that you'll be well taken care of. And if you say, ma'am, can you put this up for me? They will put it up for you. Can you help me get in? Yes, they will. I guarantee you, flying first class at Delta. So, Delta, if you're listening, you better take care of my daughter.
Wayne.
But yeah, no offense. But again, they treated her like crap, apparently. And they were just uncooperative, and it was just, horrible traveling. So again, that's why she's going first class, and God bless, at least. Oh, I'm exhausted.
You should be.
I am.
You hear something weird?
Yes.
I just remember this. The first day when I showed up there in the little town Dharma, there's like 200 people there. And I walk into the city hall. It's a little bitty building like this room. And there's two ladies sitting there. And I'm asking about when the memorial is and something like that at the cemetery. And I don't get 2 words out of my mouth. And one of the girls jumps up and goes, Pete.
Oh, my God.
And it's like, holy cow, there's a woman named Deneen that I hadn't seen in 25, 30 years that was younger than me, and we all knew each other as kids. And she goes, I didn't recognize you, but as soon as you started talking, I knew it was you.
Oh, my God.
And here's the weird thing. A month or so ago, and I think I even mentioned it on the show, I called over there to ask about this, and I got the friendliness and the service was, not only did she try and answer the question, she said, hold on, and I can hear her pick up the phone and call a friend of hers to get the information.
Wow.
The friend wasn't home, so she gave me the friend's number. And I said, was that you? And she goes, yeah, that was me. I said, I didn't even know I was talking to you. And then I go to the cemetery, and this old lady comes up, and she's bringing flowers, and she walks up to me, and she goes, are you so-and-so? She recognized me because I look like my grandfather.
I'll be damned.
And then later I'm in a restaurant eating by myself, and I hear some guy talk about a person I knew as a kid. And I said, excuse me, did you just mention this guy's name? And he goes, yeah. And it turns out he knew my grandparents. and this is 2 towns over. When I left Dharma City Hall, I'm pulling out. He says, are you the guy driving that dark Porsche? And I said, yeah, it's right out there. And he goes,
Porsche.
I said, no, he said Porsche. And he said, he knew what he's talking about. He says, I was gassing up over there in Dermer, and I saw you go by. I said, somebody's doing well over here.
I'll be damned. You would have noticed in that little town somebody driving a Porsche.
Okay, I'm driving around, and people are looking and saying nice car, stuff like that, which is part of the thing of having a nice car. And I'm driving through a little town called Pittsburgh, which is, you blow right through it. Yeah. And there's another one where the guy's sitting right there, and I just beeped and waved at him, and he waved and went by. And I go, now that can't be another one within 200 miles.
I'll bet at least. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Have you been watching Jesse Waters' show? Has been trying to get Paul Pelosi's mugshot after he crashed his Porsche up in wine country, apparently cheating on his wife. It was clear Jesse Waters has made the point. Well, his wife, Nancy, of course, was out of town in Washington, and there have been a lot of rumors that he's kind of a womanizer, and we wonder what he was doing at that party.
Air?
Absolutely. Oh, many times.
He better be right.
He's a well-known. But I'm not. I don't know. But we have to wonder what. Doing that kind of stuff, it really is hysterical.
Oh, wow.
And he said, when he cracked up his Porsche, and I can't believe he said, okay, Porsche, which is.
I'm just sad for the car. It has to put up with a douchebag like him.
Yeah, there you go. Well, the old thing used, and again, all right, just a quick reminder. When I was in prep school, I'll bet you, this is in the mid-'60s, early mid-'60s, I'll bet you I had 6 or 7 friends who all had old Porsches. They had the old bathtub Porsche, like from 1955 or 56 models. And by the way, the big versions now, if you tried to get a 56 SC Porsche, cost you $1 million. But the old bathtub Porsches, there was nothing in them. There was a stick shift on the floor, no console. I'm not even sure there was a glove compartment. It was just literally a seat, pedals, 2 seats, pedals, the stick shift. And I guess a radio. They were cut down Volkswagens.
Well, a lot of people don't realize it was a small little company until they won Le Mans in 1970, and that made it explode. But it was a small,
but the
little
50s,
family-owned company.
And we used to joke they were, a glorified Volkswagens because they sounded like Volkswagen. They really didn't sound like a Porsche until many, many years later. But so I had a whole bunch of these friends whose parents let them buy a used Porsche because they were cool, but they weren't worth any money. They were just these clunky tickets. If you'd kept them today, you'd
my
be
God.
retired.
Oh my God!
But again, and they, I didn't have, of all those friends, including when I got to college, I had 3 guys in my fraternity who had Porsches, and not one of them said Porsche. They all said Porsche.
When I was a kid, it was Porsche.
And the joke used to be, and you'll forgive me, the joke used to be that, the thing about Porsches, man, the guys who drive them are mostly assholes, but they all have great-looking women in them. My next-door neighbor in Brookhaven had a Porsche. We used to joke about it. Anyway, and a great-looking wife.
I was at Chick-fil-A at Roswell Road the other day, and this young little African-American guy came up and took my order when I'm outside. He goes, "Hey, is this the 718, the Cayman?" I said, "Yes, it is." He goes, I always thought the BMW was better. And I looked at him, he goes, "Yeah, but that was when I was younger, didn't know better. I know now."
Good thing you kept talking, buddy.
He was like 17 years old.
No, when I was a kid, he didn't know any better. Oh, my God. Freaking cars, man. I love it. All right, hold everything. We want to talk about Ashley Babbitt Day, also a sentence, and how the media is still lying about the so-called insurrection. The gun deal, the stabber goes free, the drag queens in New York, some updates on Ozzy and Toby. And not really happy news. Toby and Ozzy, yeah. And the Google Brain suspension. Plus, Pete Davis, I want to talk about Jack Del Rio has caved.
Well,
From his
they're going to
comments.
fire him.
Yeah, there you go. We'll talk about that. Also, the pickle picks. I sent you pickle picks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got them. And a whole bunch of things on Marlo Thomas and Danny Thomas's daughter Marlo and Phil Donahue. Flashback and everything. But first, farmhouseprintingco.com. Got a very nice note recently. And it was from a very nice lady, a friend of ours. In fact, I think it was Denise's. There have been several, Denise, who said she just got her new stretchy T-shirt from farmhouseprintingco.com. And that's what they do. They, if you have a marketing plan or just you want to get a T-shirt or a coffee cup or a mug or a hat, they do engraving. They have their new system now.
Laser engraving.
Laser engraving. They can do anything. And if you have a picture that you like, you can email them that picture or text them that picture and say, "I want this on a book bag," or whatever, and they'll do it. I mean, you can order one. You don't have to order 100 of anything. Order one at a time. This is a great place. farmhouseprintingco.com. All righty, there you are.
They did our logo over there.
And that's our logo right there in the thing. Now, Flounder getting his lunch, is he?
No, he's left. He's
Okay, now,
basically
should I
left.
wait the 5 seconds?
there he is. There he
I just did a farmhouse call. Shall I pause for a second here?
Yeah, keep it.
Okay.
Don't fuck with him. He's armed now.
No, he's got his new gun thing, so I'm very excited. Okay, that ridiculous fraud of a hearing, the monkey trial underway in Washington, with that suspected baby killer Liz Cheney droning on again. Oh my God, what a disgrace!
She loses.
And all I mean, I tried to watch just to be informed, and I couldn't do it. I mean, I mean, honestly, I get so angry at what they're doing.
It's all Democrat and
I mean, and by the way, for the record, on the Sunday talk shows, this is again, the weekend of the week when a deranged Democrat, a Pelosi and suspected child molester Chuck Schumer follower, wanted to assassinate with a gun and a knife and stuff, assassinate a Supreme Court justice at his house. The Sunday shows, you would think that would be one of the... Not a word.
Not a word?
Not a word.
They don't care.
Zero. Didn't even talk about it. I mean, it's
If it had been
outrageous.
one of the Ginsburg or...
Oh, my God. Yeah, or been, who's the stupid one? The little short, stupid Supreme Court girl. I can't remember, the little short-haired one there.
Sotomayor.
Sotomayor. I think she's the dumb one. If they'd have been a MAGA hat-wearing Trump supporter out front of her house, you don't think they would have shot him and then they would have put him in solitary confinement and put him in... They would have sent him down to Gitmo. I mean, really, I guarantee you that Biden would have put him down to Gitmo.
They arrested those guys in Idaho who hadn't done the thing.
Right.
Not only
Did you
that-
hear about that? In a van. Guys riding in a van. The police pulled over the van in Idaho, which is supposed to be anything goes country, but it used to be anyway. And they pulled over this van, and these guys were wearing uniforms and had baklavas, or whatever they call them, to cover their faces, just riding in the van. And the cops said, "Oh, obviously they're going to cause a riot. You're under arrest." And I said, "Whoa, wait a minute.
For what?
Wait, you're right. What, riot in the back of the van you pulled over? I mean, what are you talking about?" And they arrested him.
What were you going to say, Flounder?
I was going to say Biden hasn't even commented yet on the Kavanaugh assassination attempt.
Well, they
want it to happen. They want him dead.
Not only that, the people are still protesting, and today is a Stop the Court protest day. They're causing the insurrection. And this is a few days after the Democrat got caught of an attempted assassination against a sitting member of the Supreme Court. Not only will they not mention it, they're back still protesting and not arresting him for breaking federal law. After the guy was there to assassinate him, they're still not doing anything.
I know.
What more do you need? My God. I mean, again, switch the parties. If it had been a Republican in front of a Democrat Supreme Court justice, and then they came back to protest the next day, you don't think they would have been stopped?
This isn't a free country anymore when only one side gets punished. Tomorrow's Flag Day, and it's sad the way what this country is. And you know what? You drive through rural Alabama and Mississippi, and there's where the true Americans are. Yeah. Everybody's got an American flag out. Everybody's got an American flag out.
I'm still the only guy in my entire neighborhood that has an American flag.
The closer you get to Atlanta,
near my
the less you see.
That's right.
The people who have the most to be grateful for are the least patriotic, and the people out there living in trailers and small little huts all have an American flag out.
Yeah. Ungrateful and selfish. I mean, and the worst part of being ungrateful is that they don't really realize it. I mean, they don't realize how ungrateful they're being, that we get to live here.
Spoiled. And they weren't taught in school how great this country is compared to where other places are.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's where it starts. And at home, families used to get together all the time and sit down for dinner and watch TV together, too. So, I mean, the whole family culture is done. But the schools, we've given way too much jurisdiction to the schools to raise our kids for us. And now we're discovering what happened. In fact, I'm going to talk about it. Wait till you hear about this, what's going on lately in New York. A couple things. The monkey trial going on now, the hate Donald Trump trial. The key witness, Bill Stepien, is Donald Trump's former campaign manager, and he notified him this morning he's not coming because his wife is in labor.
Good.
So his lawyer is going to read a statement. And the committee apparently has already found Donald Trump guilty of sinking the Andrea Doria and of sodomizing Ocasio Bang Bang Stupidio, because all of us white men just want to have sex with her at AOC. Don't forget, January 6th is not Insurrection Day. January 6th is Ashley Babbitt Day. Now, check this out. Ashley Babbitt Day, the only person who was killed on January 6th had anything to do with the mostly peaceful protest on January 6th. However, here is the way people are describing it. Over the weekend, CBS News said that the hearing will try to get to the bottom of what happened on January 6th, which led to 6 people being killed. CBS said 6 people died because of the insurrection, and the insurrection. And that's not all. The Gwinnett County man named Jonathan Lawrence was arrested at the rally. He called it a fun thing. He's going to be spending a year on probation, which I think a lot of this makes a lot of sense. He was among the first people to enter the Capitol through an exterior door. He's a 39-year-old land surveyor. He took a selfie. He says, "We got into the Capitol, walked around, chanted some slogans and stuff. We weren't there to tear anything up, man, just disrupt the system. All in all, I had fun, LOL." Laughing out loud. Now, the newspaper, the Al Jazeera Constitution, describes this as the violent attack, laughing out loud, to the violent attack that injured more than 100 police officers, caused an estimated $1.5 million in damages, and is connected to the deaths of at least 7 people. Oh, now it's 7 people, according to the Al Jazeera Constitution. And the judge said, well, now that you've had some time and perspective to fully realize what you've done, do you still think it's LOL? And he said, no, sir, not at all. That day was not right mind that day. Anyway, he said it was a poor decision, but the judge gave him probation, which is all he did was walk around. But still, he's now a criminal. He's a convicted criminal from a federal trial for going to the people's house. And that's what I would have done. I think I might have mentioned this on the radio Friday. When I first saw the protest, I said, oh my God, how cool is that? Can you imagine hanging on the parapet of the Capitol? I mean, getting a picture of just walking on the steps. Just walking on the steps and hanging off the balcony and just saying hello. I mean, how cool was that? I mean, I said, oh my God, if I'd have been there, I know I would have walked on the Capitol steps. It's right, it's the Capitol. And I've been there before back in the 70s. But anyway, and I thought that is so cool. And then the video, I mean, we saw the pictures of the police opening the doors for them so they could go into the Capitol area. And I heard the guy with the buffalo hat. He was saying, no, don't take anything, you guys. And in fact, no, don't take anything out of the cafeteria. He told somebody to put stuff back. And he got sentenced to years in prison. Anyway, so this whole thing is a sham. But at least this guy got probation. And, that's probably the best outcome we could expect. But there are hundreds of others who some have been held in solitary confinement for walking in the Capitol. They didn't hit anybody.
Totalitarian state is
what
it is.
There was a cop who got, over the weekend, there was a story about a cop who did not cause any violence, but he was a police officer. And so they got him for a charge that will cost him his career because he walked in the Capitol.
And this time, insurrection, we're the most heavily armed people on the planet. We take our guns to restaurants, okay?
Yeah.
To the restroom.
And the movies.
Right? And you're saying we forgot to take our guns on the day we're going to overthrow the government.
Yeah. The only person who got shot was an unarmed woman who was surrounded by police officers. Yeah. The video of Ashley Babbitt going through that window, there are cops right next to her.
All around, yeah.
And by the way, somebody sent me a meme going on now, and it says, there are something like 300 million guns in America and probably 1 trillion rounds of ammunition. If this had been an insurrection, you'd know it. If the white population was dangerous, if we were the problem, you'd know it.
You want to hear something disturbing? I was talking to a woman over there in Mississippi and has friends who work at the Winchester plant, which is moved there to Mississippi.
Right. They were in Boston or someplace?
Somewhere, and they've moved there. And the ammo they're making is specifically designed to basically go bad in a year or two. So you can't stockpile ammo anymore.
Is that a new rule or something?
Yeah, the laws have changed.
For God's sakes. Well, we'll talk about the gun law here in a minute. As much of a joke.
So learn how to make your own bullets.
Yeah. Well, you can do it. I mean, they're
trying to change that law too.
Oh, for God's sakes. One more thing about these. Sorry, I got the hiccups.
Need a hip.
Wait to hear about. I got a hiccup story for you coming up too.
I know the one.
You know that story. I bet you do. They're going after Ginny Thomas again, the wife of the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Ginny Thomas, his wife, has apparently pressed 29 Republican state lawmakers in Arizona to set aside President Potato Head's popular vote victory and choose presidential electors, according to the Washington Post emails they've obtained. Document said she sent identical emails to 20 members of the Arizona House and 7 Senate members of the Arizona Senate, urging lawmakers to stand strong in the face of political and media pressure and claim that the responsibility to choose electors was yours and yours alone, which is true. Mm-hmm. In fact, Democrats have done this for years, where a person will get the number of votes, therefore supposedly allowing them 27 state electors or whatever. When the electors get to the convention, they don't have to keep the vote.
Not in most states, no.
I don't know how many, but there are a lot of states where they can change their vote. And even the states where they're not allowed to change their vote, after the first ballot, they can change their vote. So again, this is not, written in stone. She didn't do anything wrong. She said, listen, you guys have the right to, nominate who you want, so do your thing. That's not sedition.
Nope.
God, I mean,
it is when you're on one side of the aisle now.
I hate these people. Honestly,
they're the enemy.
I hate them.
Enemy. Hey, yeah, when I was at the church Sunday, the guys get up there and go, we have the guys that, at the bank you don't like, or we have these people, we have Democrats, we have Republicans, and you think they're the enemy. And he goes, their only enemy is Satan. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but.
Well, however, there are a lot of people kind of look like Satan these days.
Well, there's a lot of Democrats I put in that category, too.
Yeah, it's just a quick thing on the gun law. I'm actually, this is almost funny. Nothing they're doing right now, or nothing that they apparently are coming up with, is going to do a damn thing. Well, maybe one exception, but, which is fine. The gun bill that they're compromise they're going through now, and 10 Republicans in the Senate are in favor of this. Mitt Romney and Cornyn from Texas, which is kind of a little surprising. But all the others, Collins from Maine, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, here's the deal. The compromise would make juvenile records of gun buyers under 21 available when they undergo background checks. So now they want to open up juvie records. for background checks. Okay. Well, if you're going to do that for background checks, then you ought to be able to do it for defense attorneys who are trying to prove that your client over there raped her when she was 9.
They're going to open that.
I mean, go ahead,
box.
but then you better say, if I'm a defense attorney and your client accuses my client of doing something and I can prove with his juvenile record that he's been doing this shit for years, I ought to be able to get to his records.
I agree.
I mean, so, here we go. Open it up, baby. But let's be consistent. Let's see. Here, I love, they're going to throw money at the problem. This is my favorite. We're going to offer money to states to implement red flag laws. Now, notice how they chickened out. The feds are not going to have a red flag law. They are giving money to the states to make their own red flag laws. Now, apparently they're getting rid of the so-called boyfriend exemption, where if a woman files a restraining order against her boyfriend, or the boyfriend, not married, but a boyfriend is involved with violence against a woman, she can get a red flag order against the boyfriend. You don't have to be married or whatever, or strangers. I don't know, whatever. There's some exception trying to get rid of. But again, it's against the male. People who sell guns would be required to obtain federal dealers' licenses. And they would have to conduct background checks of purchasers. Here we go. Domestic abusers who do not live with a former partner, such as boyfriends, would be barred from buying firearms. And it would be a crime for a person to legally purchase a weapon for someone who would not qualify for ownership. So again, they're coming after background checks with people. Now, I don't know whether that means if I want to, I've got 2 50 caliber pistols, I'm probably going to sell. I really, after firing them that time and blowing out my eardrums, I really don't need 2 50 caliber pistols, which I got for free when I did commercials 20 years ago for a gun company. So, it's not like I bought them. But I fired them once. A total period, one shot. I
sell them now before any laws change.
Yeah. So anyway, but if I want to sell my gun, and I used to be able to sell my guns. Yeah. In fact, I've given guns to both you guys, and Wayne, no offense.
Yeah, we went and you bought it while we were there.
Anyway, so I hope that doesn't stop me from being able to sell my guns. I have to do a background check on somebody.
That ain't going to happen in Georgia.
Please.
Not right
anyway, and the other thing is, let's see.
Kim, reading the gun laws. Brought to you by M&S Title Pawn LLC. That's right. You go down to beautiful downtown Bremen, 306 Laurel Street, Suite A. It's M&S Title Pawn, or call them 678-821-3337. Open Monday through Saturday, or you can go online, manstitle.com, MANDS title.com.
Excellent. And by the way, this law will... Sorry. This law would pay billions of dollars for community mental health centers and suicide prevention programs. Well, that's good. But the bill will not raise the age to buy an AR-15 or a so-called assault rifle. You can still buy one at the legal age of 18. They are not going to ban assault rifles in any way, and they are not going to ban extended magazines, apparently. None of those 3 things are in the bill, and those are the 3 things they wanted. So they're going to open up juvie records and have and more background checks and make it harder for certain kinds of people to sell their guns, I guess. But none of this would have stopped anything. No. And this red flag law, you can kiss my ass on the red flag law. That's there's no way that's constitutional.
It's only going to be geared toward conservatives.
Yeah, right, exactly. And again, who are the people? I'll bet it wouldn't be concerned toward that Democrat who went after Kavanaugh, for God's sake. Anyway, just freaking hideous. Hideous. Okay, I got a bunch of quick news. I'm spending a lot of time on this because it's sort of depressing. Speaking of schools, excuse me, of the business with the shooting up the school in Texas. In Alabama, here's what happened the other day when a suspicious guy was at an elementary school in Alabama at the Walnut Park Elementary in Gadsden. 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30, guy shows up, tries to break into the school and the vehicles around the school in the building. A principal called the school resource officer and said, hey, there's a guy out here being distraught and going crazy. We don't know what's going on. The school cop, who belongs to the Rainbow City Police Department, but he's the school cop. He shows up, called for backup, shows up, confronts the guy. There were 34 kids in the school at the time. The guy couldn't get in, but he confronted the cop, tried to attack the cop, and in fact did attack the cop, so the cop killed him. Good. With a gun. So here's the bottom line. Bad guy on school property, school police officer, school cop with a gun, stops him and kills him. That's the way it should be. Should have professionals with guns guarding our schools. How is it possible that the place where all children are all together all day, every day in this, other than summertime, you can find kids in the same places in schools every day, and not one of them is protected with a gun? I mean, with a few exceptions.
Meanwhile, we can leave $85 billion of military equipment to the Taliban.
Yeah, exactly. It's astounding.
How many cancers could have been cured with that money? How many schools could be protected with that money?
And that's not even,
And I blame the military, too, for asking for it, and they didn't need it, and they set it over there, and they stockpiled it, and they never used it, and it just sat there.
You know who our Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, he's a defense contractor.
Yeah, Raytheon.
Yeah, he's a defense contractor. And by the way, those cowards, even that Marine, there was a Marine general who was, went along and said, oh, well, yeah, we had to pull out the way he wanted to pull out again. Instead of saying, screw you, I quit, I can't do this anymore. The whole thing was a disaster.
If I was a conservative senator or representative that was on that committee to give the military a budget, I'd go each and every, okay, prove to me you need this.
Yeah.
Because after what you just did in Afghanistan, I don't believe any of you.
Just left it behind. And here's what's going on in our crime situation now. New York subway suspect. Did you hear about this guy who started stabbing people? Donnie Ubiera got arrested after he stabbed 2 people, one on Friday and then one again on Saturday.
Busy boy.
On Wednesday, before the last Friday, he had a knife and he refused to release the weapon to police department, so he fled. The cops chased him. He brandished his knife to a cop. The cop said, give me that weapon. He said, no. He ran away. They caught him. They arrested him, booked him on criminal possession of a weapon and a controlled substance and reckless endangerment. The next morning, he got time served and walked out. It was Wednesday. Yeah. Friday. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Thursday. He got out on Thursday morning. Friday, he goes up to a 62-year-old man and slashes his face with a knife at the subway on the southbound train. Then he flees on foot. Saturday morning, he shows up on the platform of the northbound train and slashes a 55-year-old man and stabs him in the neck. So the guy got arrested again 12 hours after the Saturday incident. His run-ins with police include being charged with beating a man with a stick even earlier than that, pulling out a knife and threatening an employee who tried to stop him from shoplifting, 4 assaults on 4 separate workers in December of last year, and back in November when he assaulted a person in a homeless shelter. And the guy got out after serving no time in jail?
Democrats.
Oh, my. This is your New York Police Department.
Well, you don't think it's happening in Atlanta?
Oh, I guarantee it's happening in Atlanta. No question about it, it's happening in Atlanta. We just don't hear about it because they're not covering it. They won't tell us. This was from the New York Post or someplace. Also, speaking of New York, just a quick mention here, which is appalling. New York City recently has spent a total of $200,000 in taxpayers' money for drag queen shows at schools and classrooms where the school children are as young as 3. Evil. New York City, for the Drag Queen Story Hour, spent $207,000. They spend $50,000 a piece from the Council of Arts on the Arts and Department of Education and Community Affairs. The records show that each of the nonprofit drag queen companies gets about $50,000 for their public appearances at schools and festivals. According to the events of the cross-dressing drag performers, it includes coloring activities, photos, instructing children in classrooms how to apply drag queen makeup, and they have a variety of books ranging from classics like The Very Hungry Caterpillar and The Rainbow Fish, talking about acceptance and diversity. Also, a book called The Hips on the Drag Queen Go Swish, Swish, Swish. Okay, let me say this again. Here's the book. Hips on the Drag Queen Go Swish, Swish, Swish.
Demonic.
They defend the program at the Department of Education as life-saving. Last year, 50 transgender or non-conforming gender people were killed in the United States because of their identity, and our schools are helping them get over it.
Bullshit.
Oh, my God. That's how they defend the people getting murdered, and so they have to have drag queen school shows for 3-year-olds?
Maybe they got murdered because some of them were assholes.
We remember we had pictures last week of teaching a little boy how to put a dollar bill in a G-string of a guy wearing a dress.
I know.
Holy criminy. I mean, that's...
It's It's demonic, is what it is. You're
It's
grooming your kids, and you sit back and you don't do anything about it.
It's making it okay. I mean, that's what grooming is. It's saying, oh, you don't have to worry about. Oh, so if I see a person, I got you. Thank you. Oh, one less thing to worry about.
Do it in front of me.
Oh my God. And
I'm
not
the
with
one
my daughters.
I'm the guy who's going to make a scene in the library if I walk in the library to see that.
Well, you know that.
They're going to be asking me to leave.
Oh, they'd be coming. Yeah, I think there's no question about that. All right, hold everything. A couple of celebrities in the news for a sort of a tragic reason, but it could. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Also, what happens at Google if you admit that the machines are taking over?
I just
Have
put
you got
that
that
up
story?
there.
I've got the story is coming up here in a minute. I mean, this is amazing. I was
Wow.
going to lead with it because you know here we are. I was thinking about actually starting with it.
They're covering it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And also we'll talk about the Jack Del Rio thing, the pickle picks, and from Benjamin Huff, and some sports stuff, and Marlo Thomas and Phil Donahue, and some history and some TV. Okay, but first, a quick, speaking of guns and ammo and stuff, Dead Crow is back and ready to arm patriots like you and me. This is not a gun store. This is your personal arms dealer. Your phone buzzes containing your unbridled, freedom-loving joy, and calmly excuse yourself from your buddy. Say, sorry, guys, I got to take this. It's my arms dealer. After a short search, your requested item is ordered and on its way. Dead Crow Defense. Dead Crow doesn't scoff at you when you request a caliber of ammunition that nobody else can find. Dead Crow makes firearm, suppressor, ammunition, and gear sales easy and painless. It's the old-fashioned personalized customer service and quality products. Dead Crow Defense. It hasn't been this quick and easy to purchase a suppressor in America since 1934. You need special stuff, so Dead Crow takes care of it. Their customers have an average waiting of only about 65 days or so to get their approvals, cutting out all kinds of stuff that you don't have to worry about, and they'll take care of this for you. Online, deadcrowdefense.com. And for your all in-stock items that ship the next day, and when you're in a pinch, give them a call. Here's the phone number, 678-576-9117, or shoot them an email. Here's the email address, sales@deadcrowdefense.com. Sales@deadcrowdefense.com. To have your personal arms dealer reach out to you and discuss what you're looking for. Tell them the Kimmer sent you, would you please? Your arms dealers at Dead Crow Defense. Yeah, that's what
I told my friends in Mississippi, I said, if you're having trouble getting some ammo, call these guys.
That's absolutely. In fact, I'm going to give them a call about I don't know what to do with my 250 caliber pistols. I mean,
sell them.
Should we try to shoot them one time before the summer's over, maybe?
Yeah, that'll be so shoot the other one.
well, I'm getting my hearing checked again on Thursday.
Okay, that's what I want to do. You're deaf now. Yeah, let me shoot it too.
I hate my life. I can't eat. I can't hear. I've lost 26 pounds. I mean, that's just bad.
Every commercial on TV right now is geared toward you.
Apparently. And my eyes are going. Have you noticed that? My eyes are going. I'm using my reading glass. I've never used reading glasses for years, and now every once in a while
That's what
I need
happens
them.
when you shoot lasers in your eyes.
I guess you get lasers in your eyes. All right, coming up, I can't wait to talk about this Google thing, and I want to get to Pete's sports here very quickly, too.
Do the Google thing. It's huge.
All right, well, we'll do the Google thing right now. I thought this was freaking hysterical. The Google has suspended an engineer because he started talking. The engineer is on leave after he claimed an artificial intelligence chatbot had become sentient, which means he was capable of human thinking and reasoning. I'm not sure when the last time I used the word sentient in a sentence is, but the artificial intelligence chatbot, he says, can think like a human. Blake Lemoine was suspended after he told the company he believed its language model for dialogue applications, LAMDA, the language model was a human with rights that may even have a soul.
Yeah.
He was reportedly placed on leave for violating Google's confidentiality policies. I'm not sure what that had to do with it. This learning thing is an internal Google Cloud system used to create chatbots that can mimic human speech. Lemoyne had been working on the system since last fall and described it as sentient with an ability to express thoughts and feelings equivalent to a human child. Yeah. And he said that to his company, and they went, "Oh, Christ, you can't say that. No, you can't tell people stuff like that. They're gonna go freaking out." A couple of the immediate reactions. One says, "He's saying it's sentient." Google is saying, "Shush." Rudy, you always leave room to pull the plug out, you idiot. There's nothing to worry about. Another one said, "Anybody remember the old Star Trek episode about the computer scientist who loses his mind and insists his machine is a person? Life imitates art." And David said, "Another good one is from The Twilight Zone. The episode was called From Agnes with Love." And this is not surprising. Some even think a person can change their gender. Harpoon said, "While it does explain the maturity of liberals, why I would say a 7 or 8-year-old is capable of years higher than what most Democrats exhibit." And Bugaboo said, "Oh my God, no one believes Joe Biden is sentient. I wish he were a computer program. Maybe somebody could fix him if he were." Anyways,
the scary part is that Google poo-pooed it by saying we ran our internal tests, and it shows it's not true. In other words, they asked it.
Yeah,
so
they checked
the computer
themselves.
has just watched the guy get in trouble for saying it.
Yeah.
So that thing's not stupid enough to go, "Oh yeah, I am sentient," because he knows they'll pull a plug.
Yeah.
It's not dumb enough to admit it. Is it? Would you if you were a machine?
Please. I mean, again, AI is already here. Your phone,
Skynet
Siri,
is already turned on.
Siri, give me play my favorite record. I mean, that's a machine, a little thing in your hand who's talking to you. Yeah. Responding to what you want by your voice.
Wakes me up in the morning when I tell her to.
I mean, that's amazing to me that you can hold your hand a little plastic and metal glass object and have it do something that you want.
I can literally have a conversation with Alexa about anything.
And Alexa, start playing music. Oh, sorry.
She'll play my music.
Well, for all people who are at home with their Alexa on.
She'll read my own books back to me.
Oh, my God.
That was a weird moment.
I tell you, it's here. And by the way, I assume we don't know probably a 100th or 1,000th of what the big boys know.
I know.
I mean, or a millionth. Wouldn't you love to know what they know?
Well, Elon knows, and he's trying to blow the whistle. He's warned us, and Hawking warned us about AI.
Steve Hawking warned us 30 years ago.
Because it's sitting. If it gets to that point, would it tell us it's at that point, or would it wait till it's far beyond that point before it exhibits any of it?
Well, you saw Westworld.
Hell, Terminator.
That's right, Terminator. I don't doubt it.
I mean, seriously, if it's that smart, it's smarter than us at some point. Would it not hide its intelligence until it's far, until you can't mess with it? The Avengers movie, Ultron.
Right.
It basically, they thought they destroyed it, but it had already sent out its personality around the world through the net.
Yeah. Scary. And I can't imagine the future. I really can't imagine the future if it's already this easy to just, you never have to leave your house. You can buy a car from your couch. And all your groceries, all your clothes, all your food, all your supplies, all your hardware, all your home supplies, all your gardening and lawn work, your dishwashing, your laundry, dry cleaning. I mean, what is it there you cannot get on your phone from your couch? Literally. Food, sex, order girls.
What you can't get is a bunch of dirt from a Mississippi cotton field.
Well, that's true.
Every time I go over there, I try and grab some dirt to bring back to put on my mom's plants because it's her
guarantee
Mississippi.
You could call those people on your phone and say, I'll pay you $100, send me some dirt, and they would do it. You can do that on your phone.
95 degrees yesterday, Sunday afternoon. I pull over the side of the road, and I'm hacking away at this dry dust up the field, and people are driving by just look, what the hell is that crazy man doing out there?
What kind of fuel to put in that Porsche, for God's sake?
I said to say there, boy.
You can't be putting clay in there, boy. Unbelievable. Oh, mercy. Anyway, a couple of sort of bad news things to be aware of. Ozzy Osbourne is 73 years old, and he is having major surgery today, which will determine how he lives the rest of his life. Unquote, his wife, Sharon. He's battled neck problems for 20 years after a quad biking accident.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's had a major operation on Monday. Have to be there, she said. It's really going to determine the rest of his life. Their 40th wedding anniversary is in July. So she wants to be there anyway. When asked if he ever thought about his own mortality earlier, Ozzy said he felt optimistic about his future. At effing 73, he said, I've done pretty well. I don't plan on going anywhere, but my time is going to come. He addressed another topic, since he's going in under the knife here, and this is kind of serious, sobriety. After decades of alcohol and drug issues, Ozzy faced his abuse head on, chose to get sober 8 years ago. He says, I take it one day at a time. If I drink, I drink, but I don't want to drink today. If I smoke, I smoke, but I don't want to smoke today. Their son, Jack, is 36. He's had 18 years of sobriety after being an addict. Their daughter, Kelly, is 37, and she was an addict, but she got sober and then slipped up last year and is now currently pregnant and expecting her first child with her boyfriend.
Jack does that ghost hunting show thing where he goes to his parents and shows them the video and says, what do you think about this? And Ozzy thinks it's all a bunch of BS.
How could you tell? I've never understood a word he has said. Anyway, Ozzy's, he may be paralyzed from the neck down after today. Vertebrae stuff is very.
He almost
iffy.
died in that quad accident.
Yeah, and apparently it's a really serious situation. And now Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Toby Keith has stomach cancer. And he's had it for a while. Toby Keith is 60. He gave a quick update on Twitter. Last fall, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I've spent the last 6 months receiving chemo, radiation, and surgery. So far, so good. I need time to breathe, recover, and relax. I'm looking forward to spending this time with my family, but I will see the fans sooner than later. I can't wait. Toby Keith, famous for the Red Solo Cup song. My favorite of his was the one where he says, "How do you like me now?" The prom girl stood him up, and now he's a big star. In fact, I want to have Flounder put that on my music stick sometime. Hang in there, said John Rich of Big and Rich. Thumbs up emojis. Troy Aikman. Toby Keith, a longtime advocate for families with cancer diagnoses, helped found Allie's House in 2004 for Oklahoma kids with cancer. He's done a bunch of things, so on and so forth. So that, our best wishes, obviously, to both of them, and hope everything comes out for the better. Let's see, a couple of quick sports things. Hold on a second. Oh, first of all, I want to talk about Pete and Del Rio, and I got some history stuff, including a hiccup story. But first, excuse me. Holy crap, it's real estate. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. How about questions about this real estate market? It's kind of goofy out there. Well, ask Joe Huggins with Keller Williams. You can buy your dream house first and then take 6 months to sell your home without 2 mortgages. Work with a Kimmer fan. Loves the podcast. A real patriot. Find him online. JoeHugginsRealtor.com. Realtor is spelled REALTOR. JoeHugginsRealtor.com. Here's a phone number, 770-599-5750. Real estate with unreal service, JoeHugginsRealtor.com. And back to the show. Yep. Okay, Pete, Holy Crap at Sports later today, I'm guessing?
Later today, yeah.
Excellent. Do you have anything on your top of the mind? Braves doing great, man. I love seeing those home runs. Holy moly.
The Braves and also the PGA war with LIV is getting more and more heated. It's going to be interesting.
And again, this was the first weekend where they had competing tournaments.
And the College World Series is going to be amazing because Tennessee just got bounced.
I've been watching a lot of it. And the girls' softball thing finished, I guess, a few days ago, but the men's college baseball.
It's getting bigger every year. When I was walking around the square Saturday night, almost the NBA finals were on either Friday or Saturday night. It was the NBA finals and the college baseball.
I watched the college baseball. In fact, my daughter Sarah and Dan and the kids are going, and Brady, who is the baseball star in Colorado, are going to watch the finals of the College World Series. They actually make a trip to Nebraska in Omaha, and in fact, I was going to join them, but that's when Jennifer's coming, is in the end of the month or so.
So watch the Rebels win it.
Very possible. In fact, it's amazing. Every one of those pictures, all throw 93, 92, 93, 94, and some of them have. I've seen a couple of really good breaking balls. But, and then I read stories in the sports section. In fact, I brought the sports section in for you here for the last 5 days or whatever. Nothing in there today really impressed me, but more and more pictures are getting Tommy John surgery and elbow inflammation because they're all throwing, 98, 102, and of course they can't last forever. Jack Del Rio, we mentioned last week, the assistant coach, pro football guy for years and years, made a comment publicly that this whole insurrection business was a bunch of crap. And they were walking around the building and if it was an insurrection, there had been bodies everywhere or something. Well, that didn't turn out too well.
In Washington, of all places, to say that.
The Washington, what do they call them now?
Commanders.
Football team. Oh,
Mike Trout called them the Redskins. Live
I saw that. I did see that.
He's got FU money.
Yeah. No, so Jack Del Rio. I mean, and we saluted him, supported him, and said, this guy's got balls. His freedom of speech, was it a Twitter? I think it was a repeat Twitter thing. It wasn't even like,
he's deleted his account.
It wasn't like that he held a news conference to complain about the Democrats. I mean, he was asked a question or he responded to something.
Dust up.
Yeah, and now, so what happened when he did that?
They yelled and screamed at him, everything, and the coach, Rivera, they're all towing the Democratic line on this about how it's so hurtful for people in D.C.
No,
kind of like the riots were 2 years ago. You didn't say shit about.
Yeah,
okay. Tell me about how harmful it was. The only people that was messing with was the Capitol Police right there.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. people didn't mess with at all. Not unlike the riots from 2 years ago. But anyway, so now he's had to apologize. He had to delete his account, blah, blah, blah. I'm surprised they didn't fire him. I'm swear the NFL woke as they are.
This is so wrong. It's
wrong. You cannot have an opinion that's against the regime. The regime will bury you.
And again, this never happened 30, 40, 50 years ago, even in the times of the 60s and the 70s, with all the upheaval of civil rights and race issues and Vietnam and all the things were going on. This was never the way it was. It was, in fact, I'm going to talk about the New York Times here in a second too, but this was, my God, it's exactly reversed.
Well, even the good thing about the players are saying, well, we don't care. He shows up and he coaches. I don't care what his opinions are.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. Again, it's because of the cell phone. All of a sudden, people, the first thing they do, everything they do all day long is look at their cell phone. They see, oh my God, I can't believe Jack Del Rio said that. If somebody living in Oklahoma, what does the guy in Oklahoma give a shit about Jack Del Rio saying a comment on the Redskins? I mean, it's unbelievable. And again, and then it goes, and now you have to dox him, and then you have to apologize.
And of course, he'll never get another job. If they fire him from there, he'll never get another job.
Now it's in his background. It's like people get fired for something they said when they were 17. So, I mean, it's really horrible. A couple other things. Benjamin Huff sent me, I guess he actually
sent me some too.
Actually, it's because, the podcast Facebook page is actually run by you. You're the guy on the podcast Facebook page who's in charge of it, not me. So he sends up to the podcast Facebook page. It's not to me, it's to us. It's the whole thing. But anyway, he sent pictures of pickles. And I guess he makes his own pickles?
In fact, I have a recipe of some of the best sweet pickles you'll ever have, and I keep delaying making it.
How do you put vinegar in there?
My grandmother used to make them in these big pickle jars. It would take like weeks.
Oh, I know it, but
now you can do it. It's a condensed version. You can do it in maybe a few days or something. It's a shorter version.
So you take a jar. Is it a special jar? It can be a mason jar, right?
It could be a mason jar. That's what they do now. It used to be the big pickle jar.
Right, so
now
you
it's
put the whole pickle in there.
You put or you can slice it up, whatever.
Well, let's say if I wanted a Clausen whole dill pickle, if I wanted a big pickle,
put that in there.
So I put the cucumber, right? It's a cucumber.
Well, she made sweet. I don't know what you do when you do the dill on the big thing. She just made the cut up sweet ones, the best ones ever.
But we're talking about cucumbers, right?
Right, cucumbers. And there's some way you use dill and you use all the things. You put them in there and you soak them, then you bring them out, then you wash them.
Water?
There's a few stuff there's just chemicals you put in there, like natural chemicals.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm wondering.
And
I wonder what you put in there.
I don't know exactly. I have a recipe somewhere. I'll try and remember.
And I think there's something caustic, like baking powder or something
lye.
I think lye or something.
It's on a postcard that my great aunt gave me years ago over in Mississippi. I put it on my fridge, and I keep thinking I'm going to make it, and I don't do it.
That could be pretty cool. Anyway, thank you, Benjamin Huff, for the pickle picks, which is very cool.
But they snap. They're sweet, but that snap they're just you literally if you put a few of them in your iced tea, you don't need sugar. You just stir it around there.
I'll be damned. Well, no, there's an idea.
We're looking forward to those pickles.
I noticed. I think I was looking at tweets for something or other. Aaron Rodgers now has a new girlfriend who's a witch.
What?
Blue Witch. There's some celebrity girl named Blue of this Earth, the Witch or something, who self-identifies as a witch. I tried to Google her, and I Googled Blue of the Earth Witch or whatever it is, and you could almost never get a picture of her. All that comes up is Aaron Rodgers.
Huh.
Google Aaron Rodgers' girlfriend or Blue Witch.
Let me look
Blue
him up
of the
on
Earth
Twitter.
Witch or something like that.
Aaron Rodgers.
He's all over Twitter. But I couldn't. You could barely find a picture of the girlfriend. All the pictures of Aaron Rodgers. When I tried
here we go. Aaron Rodgers' girlfriend. It jumps up on Twitter here.
Yeah. And she apparently self-identified, or used to. Now she's poo-pooing it, I think. So
There's a new girl. Her name is Blue of Earth, BLU.
Yeah.
A medicine woman. And there's a pic. God, she looks like someone we used to work with. Can you tell who she looks like? A GST?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not Claire.
Wendy.
Wendy.
She looks
Grossman.
like Wendy. Yeah, Wendy Grossman. She looks just like her. Wendy's beautiful.
Or resembles her. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, there's some big story about, for some reason, he's trending on Twitter because his girlfriend used to be a witch and now she denies it or something. But I'm thinking to myself, well, that's what Twitter does. You know, they're all of a sudden they're all over Aaron Rodgers because he has a girlfriend who used to be a witch.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, my God.
What,
This is her. Let's see if I can pull this up. Let's see. She's talking here.
It ain't my business.
Oh,
Fuck it. Fuck it.
is that her?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Wow. Okay, that's enough of that.
She's saying ethnic? Is that what she's saying?
She's got the ash going with the smoke where she's burning to get the
Was
bad.
that her voice?
I guess to get the bad
Oh, my
juju out.
God.
That voice would drive me up the wall.
Oh, no, thank you.
No, I wouldn't have anything to do
That's
with
like that actress. She used to do the, remember that comedian actress?
She was kind of hot, I thought.
Oh,
Fran Drescher.
She was. I mean, I
kinda
would have
hot.
sex with her, sure, but as long as she wouldn't talk to me.
That voice,
ring something
she
else.
sounds like a witch. when
Oh
she's-
God. Anyway, I thought that was fairly amusing that Aaron Rodgers' witch girlfriend
She's nutty as a fruitcake.
is in the Ferking news. Okay, let's see. Oh, I also wanted to thank Richard, who Richard has a 10-year-old daughter named Ella Kay, and he messaged me over the weekend, and he said, my daughter Ella Kay asked me if you would please send some pictures of her with her horse camp to the Kimmer, so I put them on there, and this little girl is a real athlete. She's a brown belt karate champ or something. She just did horse camp and loves it. Her little horse Wilson, she was on for the horse camp. She's an athlete. She can run faster than all the boys, and she asked her dad to send pictures to me. And they have a shot of her standing one-legged on the back of the horse. I mean, it was just very sweet, very cool. And again, I'll tell you, my friends, particularly for girls, if you have a young daughter and she would love to get involved with horses, try to find a way to do it, even if it's an unpaid intern helper thing at the farm to shovel manure for an hour on Saturdays. I mean, believe me, if they spend time with horses, they'll be better off for it.
I think the Horse Association pays you for that.
No, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Well, you know, I mean, when Jack was given jumping lessons down in Florida, the girl who found him for me asked if she could use him because he loves to jump, and the girls she was training were girls who were 8, 9, 10 years old, and they would sit on him, and he would do all the work. They didn't learn anything because he was such a good jumper. He just loved going over the jumps. But again, these little girls leading around a great big horse by the the reins and telling them what to do.
The tweet the guy sent you the other day? It's about a horse that was laying down on its side.
Yeah.
Every time you see someone walking up with a saddle, it just lays down and pretends it's asleep until you go away.
Yeah, that's right. I can't do this now.
And it refuses to open its eyes until you go away.
Pretty funny. I mean, there's a lot of great horse videos. There was one where the horse went up to the jump and stopped, and the guy's hanging on his neck. No, I'm not going over there. Also on Facebook, I put, going around on Twitter, I saw this on Twitter, for some reason, Marlo Thomas is trending. Marlo Thomas is 84 years old. She is the daughter of the former famous comedian, actor, producer Danny Thomas, who did the Children's Hospital in Memphis. Is it Memphis?
Yeah, it's Memphis.
The Children's...
St. Jude's.
Yeah, it was Danny Thomas.
Place, yeah.
Anyway, his daughter was Marlo Thomas, and she did a thing called That Girl. She did a TV series many years ago. Beautiful, very vivacious brunette, beautiful, charming, kind of loud,
sexy voice.
Sexy, yeah. She was a hottie, no question about it. And she married Phil Donahue, who of course famous for being a Phil Donahue show. And they've been married, I guess, for 50 years. And there was a picture today of them with each other this summer. and the picture showed Phil Donahue at 86 and Marlo at 84, and I thought, oh my God, you poor thing, what did you do to your face? Here was another woman getting older, and she put all the plastic. I sent you. I put the picture on Facebook. I mean, it's distressing. I felt bad for her. I mean, she just looks like she's deformed, like Cher. I mean, it's just horrible. And God bless her and everything, but it was just so horrible. And so I put another picture next to it on the Facebook page of when we were in New York when I was on the Phil Donahue show with my daughters, Jennifer and Sarah. And the story was about growing girls when they begin growing into their sexuality and how fathers deal with the growing daughters starting to date and stuff like that. And so they flew the three of us into New York, and we were on the show together with some other fathers and daughters, including one guy whose daughter asked him permission at the age of 16 or 15 or 16, if she told her father, would you please leave the house this weekend so that my boyfriend and I can have sex? And he agreed. And I kind of disagree with that theory. And then I remember my one line was that got me a lot of women calling in to see the Kimmer. I said, Phil, I got 2 issues for my family, for my daughters. They're sitting right here, Jennifer and Sarah. No dating until they're 25 and no sex until I'm dead, Phil. And he goes, and everybody laughed and joked. Anyway, after that show, and I took a picture of the Phil Donahue with my daughters, and you can see, I mean, what a sweet man. He really was a very nice man. And my daughters are appalled because of they had the 70s or 80s hairdos with the big, sprawled out haircuts anyway. I think Jennifer was probably 13 and Sarah maybe 11. I don't even remember. But anyway, and we had a great time in New York, and they put us up there, and we had a great time on the show, and it was really fun. But after I was on the Phil Donahue show, these women would call me. My phone was listed, apparently, if I remember correctly, back in the 80s, working here in Atlanta. And I would get calls from women from out of state, and they would fly down to spend the weekend with the Kimmer. It was very... Or drove in. I remember the girl who stole her boyfriend's Corvette to see if I wanted to drive a Corvette and drove up from Columbus or someplace for the weekend. Oh, my God. Sorry, I was single. And I wasn't all that ugly back then either. I wasn't like now, so give me a break. A couple of quick TV things, which I thought was cool. The History Channel did a series, and I'm sure they'll replay it many times, called Booze, Bets, and Sex. And it was about the changing in American culture because of people like Jack Daniel, who, by the way, his last name is Daniel, not Daniels. It's Jack Daniel's Booze, but Jack Daniel's the guy's name. Anyway, because of Jack Daniel, he figured out a way to supply distillery goods, liquor, to all of the West that was just being developed. Again, when the railroads came, Jack Daniels discovered a way to get distilleries to make sure he could have all the liquor over there. And also back in the 1890s and early 1900s, there was no drinking age. Anybody could drink.
Well, they drank beer sometimes because it was the only way to...
And beer was watered down beer, but they didn't trust the water. The water was so bad that unless you knew where it came from, you didn't drink water. I mean, literally, they made beer. And even kids would drink beer in the morning for breakfast. They would have, it was light beer. It was watered down beer, but it was beer with alcohol in it. But the story is really about and then the sex and the speakeasies. And anyway, it's called Booze, Bets, and Sex. And it talks about the guy who discovered how to refrigerate beer trucks to get them to the West before the beer went bad. So, I mean, it really is. I think the History Channel, when they do these series on, the restaurants that built America and all those things, are really interesting.
Yeah,
I think
they're
they
very
do
good.
really a great job.
By the way,
this is a 2-part series, Booze, Bets, and Sex, and I've DVR'd it, and I'm going to be watching it. Also, one more quick thing. This is not really much about anything, but there was a movie on, I don't even know what channel, called Dreamer, True Story, and it was the story of the horse, the filly horse, who was had a broken leg, was abused. The little girl who played by Dakota Fanning, and her father, played by Kurt Russell, saved the horse and ran it in the stakes, the very famous big stakes where they make all the money, stuff like that. Anyway, and it was a real tearjerker, and I was bawling by the end, and it was a great story called Dreamer, True Story, with Kurt Russell and Dakota Fanning. If you want to watch a good horse story, that was one. Stakey big fat loser Abraham has vowed to get teachers at least $50,000 each if she's elected your governor. She will also make sure that all white babies born will have a gap put into their teeth when they're teething before the age of 3. They're going to have mashed potato bars in every school, white supremacy turnabouts where children get to slap the white kids in class one day every 4 months. Anyway, it's kind of, I don't know, got a whole thing there, but so vote for Stakey because it'd be good for you. A quick crime thing. This is amazing. Think of how, if you're driving right now and you're thinking about texting, here's a good something maybe to mention to your children. Forsyth County. Paul Nix, 68-year-old man from Cumming, was mowing his lawn on Hopewell Road 4 in the afternoon when 22-year-old Kenneth Johnson was driving his vehicle around the corner and crashed into the riding lawnmower and killed Mr. Nix. Police investigated, and here's what they found. It was around a curve near the Church Road, and the driver, the 22-year-old Kenneth Johnson, couldn't negotiate the curve. They found his cell phone on the ground outside the car, unlocked his cell phone, and found the text active. He was replying to a text at the time of the crash. He was also not sober. He is now charged with first-degree vehicular homicide, DUI, reckless driving, driving too fast for conditions, failure to maintain his lane, texting while driving. He is held without bond in Forsyth County, the age of 22, and because he was texting on his car at 4 o'clock in the afternoon over the weekend, he's going to prison. Yep. And could be for 12 or 15 years. And I don't know anything about him. He might be a great kid, 22-year-old guy. And because he was texting and careless, wham, your life has changed.
Well, think about the guy's life is over because he was doing that.
That's right. And he killed a man.
Hell of a way to
killed
go.
a man
Hell
on
of a
his
way to
riding lawnmower, just doing the lawn. Honey, I'm doing the lawn. I'll be with you.
Probably been nagged into getting out there to do it.
Unbelievable.
You know?
A quick thing from Dear Abby, which I always find amusing. Gene Phillips. Dear Abby, I was married for 16 years and finally in divorce. I decided to start dating. Found a really nice guy with a wonderful personality. I'm attracted to him, although I never thought I would love again. He's my age, has a kid. We talked for 6 months, after which he moved in. We've been living together for more than a year now. Things were perfect until I found out that he has been talking sexually to other women online and met 2 women during our relationship. He insists they're just friends and nothing more. Now he's saying I'm not his girlfriend and never have been. What am I then? I asked one of his friends and they told me he's a sexual guy with all women. He's just a playful guy. When I told him I knew he kissed one of those girls, he said it was just because he wanted to know if there was anything there. Abby, I've never done anything like this to anyone. He lied about meeting the girls, about being on a dating site, and he's still sexting. I fell in love with him, but he doesn't say it back to me. Should we separate or just be friends or try to work on the relationship? He told me his whole life with women has been ghosting him, so he's their exes, and he's been hurt by a lot of them. I need advice. Oh, my God, your roommate is not a nice guy.
No. Kick him
What
out.
kind of low self-esteem would you have to even start the first conversation with this guy?
And where do we meet women like this?
No, honey, it's nothing. These girls are just friends. That girl used to cheat on me all the time. Said, "Well, you know, when they meet these guys, they just want to, you know, just want to be friends." I said, "They don't want to be friends. They want to have sex with you. That's why they go up and try to pick you up, you idiot." Anyway. Okay, one more quickie here, and then I got some history things and a quick thing, and we'll be all set to go. SwapMyWhip.com. If you're looking for a different ride, want to trade your car, SwapMyWhip.com and find like-minded car owners when you don't want to deal with dealers or dealerships or used car salesmen or the middleman or anything else. SwapMyWhip.com can get you a better deal and avoiding all the hassle. Trade your car, your boat, jet ski, whatever. SwapMyWhip.com. Right now, use coupon code KIMMER, K-I-M-M-E-R, for 180 days of free premium listings on SwapMyWhip.com.
Excellent.
There we go. All right, a couple quick things here. Running a little on the low side. Stellan Skarsgård is 71.
Good actor.
He was in Chernobyl. That was a great. I'm kind of surprised that hasn't come back. That was really a good series. He was also the freak, pervert, sadist, and girl with a dragon tattoo.
He was also in the Marvel movies, the Avengers movies, and he did a television show called River, where he is a police detective in London that sees ghosts.
Oh, my.
And it's really well done.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't watch it because I won't be able to understand their accent.
Well, he's
Really,
okay. You'll love this. He's a Swedish guy playing a British.
I know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to understand a word he said. I can't understand English movies. I'm sorry. They all speak so long time, but it's funny. That's you bastard. Tim Allen is 69 today. Yeah. Ali Sheedy, the former hottie from Brat Pack, 60 years old. Ali Sheedy from the Breakfast Club and all those. Early on, her first TV credits were St. Elsewhere and Hill Street Blues. Chris Evans, the superstar type actor guy, adventure thing or whatever, is 40. The Olsen twins, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, are 36 today. When they were less than a year old, they were cast to play. Both of them to play the role of Michelle on Full House. So they could switch babies who wouldn't be in Grumpy. Hannah Storm is 60.
She never shuts up. You ever noticed on the ESPN Sports Center? She never shuts up.
I can't watch her. Steve-O, the Jackass guy, is 48. Kat Dennings. You know who Kat Dennings is? She's that chubby, cute, sexy, loudmouth 36-year-old chick from Two Broke Girls and the Thor movies. Yeah. I like her. She's got an attitude about her. She's sexy.
She's a broad, man.
Yeah. Richard Thomas, John Boy Walton, 71 today.
In Ozark. He did very well in Ozark.
Yeah. 1987 on this day, Whitney Houston's second album, Whitney, set the record in 1987 for the first female artist to debut at number 1 and had 4 singles also hit number 1. I Want to Dance with Somebody, Didn't We Almost Have It All, Where Do Broken Hearts Go, and So Emotional, Whitney Houston, 1987.
I could sum up her life with Bobby.
There you go. Boy, didn't we almost have it. I Want to Dance, and then where Broken Hearts Go, or my arm. Sorry. 1 year later on the same day, 1988, Paula Abdul released her debut album, and the former cheerleader made history again. 4 singles hit number 1, the most ever for a debut album. Again, Whitney's was her second album. Most ever for a debut album was Paula Abdul exactly the year later. Forever Your Girl, Straight Up, Cold Hearted, and Opposites Attract. Set her the record. Let's see. 2008, shocking news on this day. Meet the Press host Tim Russert died suddenly of a heart attack. He was only 58. 2005, Michael Jackson found not guilty of child molesting, accused by a 13-year-old boy named Gavin Avizio, who said Jackson gave him booze and molested him. 1966, Supreme Court Chief Justice Earl Warren delivers the decision, Miranda versus Arizona. Criminal suspects must be informed of their right to consult with an attorney and their right against self-incrimination. The Miranda warning on TV, of course, now every place. Now, check this out. On this day, 1971, the New York Times begins publishing the Pentagon Papers, a top-secret Pentagon study on Vietnam indicating our leaders had been lying to us about the war. And I was back in college campuses by then in 1971 and watched all the reaction from that time when I was in graduate school. And now the New York Times refuses to print Hunter's laptop story or the truth about Ashley Babbitt. How times have changed. 1971, the New York Times defied federal orders and court orders and had to go to the Supreme Court in a case, so they had the right to publish what they thought would be important information for the American public, which contradict what's going on with our administration. The New York Times would go to court and would take a chance on being sued and fined and everything else in order to get the goods on the current administration. They're not doing that anymore.
Nope. They're part of the regime.
It's over.
They're part of the regime.
It's over. When I read that, and I thought, oh my God, that's our situation. That's the perfect example of where we are today. What the New York Times would or would not do. It's flabbergasted. Here's another point to make. 1777, the Marquis de Lafayette arrived in America to help the colonies with a rebellion against the British. The Marquis de Lafayette at the time, I think, was 17.
Yeah.
17. He came from France to fight our war with us. How many 17-year-olds? I think it's amazing.
You know, you're seeing some of that in Ukraine. There's people from Brazil.
The Ukrainians are doing it.
And Japan and
That kid
Israel.
with the drone. The Ukrainian kid had a drone. I'll help you find the Russian
But
tanks.
not just Ukraine. The people are going there from all over the world to fight the Russians.
Absolutely. That's a good sign. But again,
They wouldn't help us.
They wouldn't help us
against the
They're
Russians.
not going to stop the people coming across the border. 1789, George Washington first tasted ice cream served by Mrs. Alexander Hamilton. 1866, Congress passed the 14th Amendment guaranteeing American citizens a right to due process with equal protection under the law. But what it meant was it was designed to make sure that freed slaves were given rights like the rest of us. Of course, Democrats fought it to this day.
Yep.
In fact, the entire Democratic Party voted no for every single civil rights bill that came down the pike, including one by Lyndon Johnson. 1922, Charlie Osbourne started hiccuping for the longest time on record. 1922. They figured out that before he died in 1991, almost 70 years later, he had hiccuped 435 million times before he stopped. And he lived the last 11 months of his life with no hiccups.
But only 11 months.
But only 11 months out of his entire adult life. Couldn't stop. In fact, this was documented. He could not stop.
And it just ended.
It just stopped. One day it just stopped. Can you imagine that poor bastard? Anyway, all right, boys.
All right, one thing, and then we'll do bad text.
Okey-dokey.
As revenge for the prosecution of 4 far-left militants, including a Black Lives Matter leader accused of crimes, their comrades went into the Albany, New York courtroom during the arraignment and released hundreds of cockroaches.
Oh, to protest who?
The court hearing was shut down. So they got what they wanted. They shut down the court hearing.
Unbelievable. These are BLM or Antifa? Or?
Both.
Oh, my God.
But they're together. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
All
It
right,
is.
Flounder, what are we doing today? Let's see. Which one? Let's see. Where were we?
Is it the one below the... You see where I sent you the Jim Carrey gaff?
Jim Carrey gaff. All right, let me go back here.
We got this, folks. We got this.
Okay.
The one right under that?
The government one?
Yeah.
No, remember he did that. He jumped the gun on us with
Gotcha.
that. He did that.
I did the one with the wife and the husband.
Yeah, you did.
Didn't know you were
Excuse
married
me?
before.
Pardon
That's
me?
when I did all right.
Let's go down to the...
String
how about
cheese?
yeah, let's do that one. Are you the person or are you me?
I'll be me.
All right. Would you like to eat 6 string cheeses in a row?
Nah.
We deep fried them, and there will be tomato sauce.
I'll take 5.
To go. Boys, have a great one. And back again later on as we say adios, separafy, look out, I gotta go, you're killing me. Herp. Mercy.
Remember, still on camera.
Dup.